All right, so today we're going to do something a little different. We are deconstructing an actual operational handbook from an institution called AIMatrix. Now, get this. It's not your typical glossy course brochure. It's more like a blueprint for what they call career transformation in the tech world. Let's dive in and see what makes their approach so unique.
Okay, let's kick things off with a question that I'm sure hits close to home for a lot of you. You take a course, you put in the hours, you get that shiny certificate, but then crickets. No job offer. Why? It's a super frustrating feeling, right? And it's the exact problem this entire handbook is built to address.
And this right here is their core belief, straight from their founding principles. They say the issue isn't that there aren't enough courses out there. I mean, the internet is flooded with them. The real problem is a deep misalignment, a gap between what courses teach, what employers actually need, and the fact that most places have zero accountability. That gap is where career dreams go to die.
So that brings us to how AIMatrix sees itself. They are making a very conscious effort to be something completely different from the usual online course platforms we all know. So what are they then? Get this. They call themselves a career infrastructure company. And I gotta say, that's a fascinating way to put it. Think about it like building a house. You wouldn't just throw up some drywall and call it a day, right? You need a solid foundation, plumbing, electrical, the whole infrastructure. That's what they aim to do for your career. Build the entire framework, not just the technical skills, but the professional habits and the discipline you need to actually last in the industry. And this table, man, it just lays it all out crystal clear. On the left, you've got your typical online platform. It's all about the content, getting that little check mark for course completion, and handing you a certificate. And notice this key part. Their accountability pretty much ends the second you pay them. But on the right, the AIMatrix model is completely flipped. It's driven by the outcome, focused on getting you a job, with learning that's actually guided and monitored. The final product isn't just a piece of paper. It's you being ready for employment, with an institution that's accountable for the entire journey. Okay, so that's the big picture philosophy. But what's it actually like to be in the program? Let's get into the nitty-gritty and see how all this stuff translates into their AI and IT program. First up, who is the target audience here? Well, they cast a pretty wide net. It could be for you if you're a current student, a fresh graduate, someone looking to switch careers, or even a professional who's just trying to find a job. The real common thread isn't where you're coming from. It's about wanting to build a real, solid professional future. And this right here really gets to the core of it. It's all about your mindset. The ideal person for this program is someone who's craving direction, structure, and accountability, someone who wants to genuinely transform their career. But they're also very clear about who it's not for. If you're looking for an instant job or you just want another certificate to add to your collection, this isn't it. And this is the big one. If you're not willing to practice discipline, it's a non-starter. So here's how they structure the program, in 6 distinct phases. And what's really interesting is that they don't just dump you into the deep end of coding. Phase 1 is all about career orientation and clarity. They want you to figure out your why before you even touch the what. Then it's a logical build. Strengthen your IT foundation, then learn AI, then get hands-on with real tools. And finally, look at phases 5 and 6. It's all about professional behavior and getting you ready for interviews. It's like they're building you from the ground up. All right, let's circle back to that word discipline, because this is where things get really, really different. The handbook is incredibly direct about this. For AIMatrix, your commitment isn't just a nice to have, it's a straight up non-negotiable requirement. And look at this list. They don't call these student rules. Nope, they're minimum professional expectations. Things you'd expect in any job. Showing up, participating, getting your work done honestly and on time. They're basically training you to be a professional from day one because, well, that's the whole point. And boom, there it is, plain and simple. Discipline isn't just a character trait here, it's a marketable skill they are actively teaching. It's just as important as knowing how to code or use a particular tool, because at the end of the day, companies hire professionals, not just people with technical knowledge. So you might be wondering what happens if you don't meet these expectations. Well, they're not messing around. The handbook lays out a very clear 3-step process for anyone who is repeatedly undisciplined. It starts with warnings, can lead to a suspension, and could even end with termination from the program. They are serious about this commitment. Okay, now for the million-dollar question, right? What about the job? This is where their policy of what I'd call radical transparency really comes through. You won't find any flashy guarantees here. Instead, they put all their energy into explaining their process. And this is probably the most important line in the entire handbook. They say it over and over again. Placement is not a promise, placement is a process. That is such a bold and honest thing to say. It sets realistic expectations from the very beginning and reframes the goal from a simple guarantee to a shared journey. So if it's a process and not a promise, what are they actually doing for you? Well, it's all about building that career infrastructure we talked about earlier. They help you figure out what job roles are right for you, guide you in building a killer resume, put you through tough mock interviews, and coach you on professional conduct. They're preparing you to walk through the door and nail that opportunity. And that brings us to the certificate itself. What's its purpose in all this? Again, they're very clear. It is not a job confirmation. It is simply an official record that you completed the program and, more importantly, that you met the standards of competency they set. It's proof you have the skills, not a guarantee someone will hire you. And really, it all comes down to this final, powerful message of ownership. AIMatrix is providing the tools, the structure, the guidance. They're building the bridge. But you're the one who has to walk across it. Your future, your success, it all hinges on your own effort, your own discipline, and your own consistency. So the handbook really leaves you with one final, very personal question. It's the fundamental choice here. It forces you to ask yourself what you really want. Are you just looking for another certificate to hang on the wall? Or are you looking for a real, fundamental career transformation? A question I think everyone should ask themselves.